This is a true horrifying story of the Illuminati.
What is it that the rich and elite all have in common?
This is proof that the music industry has a demonic agenda.
So when I see Jay-Z, what does this mean? You're not no gang member.
Beyonce has a demon.
I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers.
So it's part of what they call like a humiliation ritual, right?
The church is too powerful. Still is.
Yo, what's good? We're back with another one.
It's showtime.
This is a true horrifying story of the Illuminati. The Illuminati is real.
Yep.
It is a real society that aims for world order. Their intent is world domination. They existed since the 18th century, and since then, they were always known for influencing political decisions. There are ranks in the Freemasons. The higher you rank, the more privileged you get. Anybody who is a valuable asset for the Illuminati will have all their wishes granted, whether it was fame, money, or even both. There are freaky videos on the deep web where hidden cameras were snuck into many of their ritual events. Of course, invites only. The most famous influencers and artists were present at these events, and they would have the freakiest performances.
They're all Satanists, bro.
Yeah, this is probably a good time to remind you that this is for entertainment purposes only.
What is it that the rich and elite all have in common? Musicians, world business leaders, even US presidents. They all attend the Bohemian Grove. The Bohemian Grove refers to a secretive members-only retreat that hosts a yearly gathering in the woods of California. This secret society is exclusive to only men and has been in existence since 1872. During the encampment, the events that take place are kept hidden from the public and outside photography is strictly forbidden. However, there have been various photos and videos that have leaked through the years showing unusual gatherings and unexplained rituals. The grounds are protected by a year-round security team and very few outsiders have ever been able to get inside. The mystery of these rituals is one that perplexes the outside world. So why do the richest men of the world partake in the Bohemian Grove?
It's the cremation of care, bro.
What are they burning?
You guys know what they're burning.
275 years ago, the Freemasons established their first lodge in Germany. In the venerable church of St. Michael, the members of what is probably the biggest secret society in the world are celebrating a jubilee. A hidden parallel world exists in our midst, one with its own special symbols and strange rituals.
Looks like they're throwing up gang signs.
They are a gang, bro. Look at the hand signs, bro.
It's not very subtle.
They're Satanists, bro.
Lots of people do that, Ted.
Yeah, lots of Satanists.
Why is the Pope doing it? They are doing it a lot.
They're taking the piss.
What's the Black Eye Club?
It's the initiation, bro.
They got Affleck.
Applesauce, bitch.
Who? Nah, not Buscemi.
Yeah, bro. See? Even footballers.
Ted, some of them might have just got a black eye.
Wake up, bro.
Ruled by secrecy, the hidden history that connects the Trilateral Commission, the Freemasons, and the Great Pyramid.
Yep.
And their whole avowed purpose was to educate the American public on the desirability of global government.
Dang.
Of course, then we've got Skull and Bones. That's where they take young men, they find the ones that with ability, and more importantly, those that are compliant, and they groom them to become world leaders. The Skull and Bones is actually the Order 322. It is the 322nd chapter of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
This was published in the New York Times. Here's Manly Wade Hall, a philosopher, a much studied occultist, and a very high-ranking Mason. And he says, in the Royal Oak Pass, the gods walked with men, and they chose from among the sons of God the wisest and the truest. And these they labored with, preparing them to carry on the work of the gods after the spiritual hierarchies themselves had withdrawn into the invisible worlds. With these specially ordained and illumined sons, they left the keys of their great wisdom. These illumined ones founded what we now know as the ancient mysteries. Here's a letter in 1782 from George Washington where he said, "It was not my intention to doubt that the doctrines of the Illuminati had not spread to the United States. On the contrary, no one is more fully satisfied of that fact than I am." These guys knew more about what was going on than we do today with all our modern technology and all our electronic communications.
They're all in on it, bro.
Yeah, it's starting to seem that way.
Skull and Bones, its members rise to the very pinnacles of power, like George Walker Bush, for example.
Yep.
When Bush contested the presidency with Democrat John Kerry, it was a battle between two bonesmen.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about.
What can they talk about?
The New World Order, bro.
Well, the great dictators and tyrants of the world have always dreamed of taking over the world, but everyone tried it the wrong way. Everyone has tried to take over the world with military, and everyone has discovered that military will not work. You cannot police and militarize enough to take over the world. So the Illuminati in 1776 developed a whole new concept of how to pull this project off. Instead of trying to force people into a new order or totalitarian dictatorship on the military, which you cannot do because people are always going to rebel at that, the idea was developed by Adam Weishaupt to create enough violence and create enough chaos and enough bloodshed to frighten the world so that the entire world of mankind would one day come to the conclusion that there's too much bloodshed, too much crime, and there's just no possible way for the human race to exist unless we come together in one order, and we will all live together in peaceful, happy, under one family, and nothing can be further from the truth.
Who is that guy, Ted?
That's Jordan Maxwell, bro. He's a legend.
The one eye is a symbol that can have different meanings depending on the context and culture. In some ancient cultures, the one eye represents omniscience, spiritual insight, and the ability to see beyond the physical world. In Egyptian mythology, the Eye of Horus is a powerful symbol of protection and healing. In Freemasonry, the one eye symbol represents the great architect of the universe, or God, who watches over humanity. The one eye symbol is also associated with the pineal gland, a small endocrine gland in the brain that some believe is responsible for spiritual experiences and mystical visions. Some esoteric traditions, such as Hermeticism, associate the one eye symbol with the concept of as above, so below, which represents the interconnectedness between the physical and spiritual realms.
It's crazy that these symbols are on money.
They're everywhere, bro.
In Freemasonry, there's a thing of directions. They would face to every direction except for where.
Was it north?
Yeah, they would never face north.
Oh.
Because that's like supposedly where God is facing. And you know what's weird too? Did you know, depending on how you sleep, you might have a better sleep if you're facing a certain direction?
Yeah, you told me this.
So we know a compass will point north. Feel me? Us being pretty much something that can be affected by frequency, magnetism, whatever. Don't you think we should be facing the right way? Especially when we're gonna spend our most time. Especially when we're not conscious. So the theory goes that if you face north when you sleep, you'll be more connected.
Better sleep.
Yeah, if you think about it, every time you didn't sleep well, maybe check the direction you're sleeping. And then that's why people say like you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Maybe you woke up on like this side of the bed and you weren't facing north or wherever you usually face. Tap in the comments which direction you guys sleep in, and tap in if you guys actually actually try sleeping in north and let me know if it actually affects your sleep.
So that's why you've been moving your bed around lately?
Yeah, bro. It's working.
Still a moody bastard in the morning, though.
You can't actually sell your soul. But I'll explain what it means when celebrities sell their soul. We are all part of one consciousness. You are me, I am you. You're also everything. And everything is also you. Everything is God. From the trees to the skies to the planets to the insects to the animals to you. So if someone were to actually sell their soul, that would mean they're giving all of us away. And that's just simply not how it happens. So how do people actually sell their soul? When someone sells their soul, there's a ritual to be done and a contract to be signed, which has been stated by a lot of celebrities who have spoken out on the truth. The way that I see it, your soul is the God in you that guides you throughout your human life for spiritual ascension. Even if it may not seem like it, each human life is a form of ascension. Now, when the ritual is done and the contract is signed, the person disconnects from their soul. Although it's never a real disconnection, it's just a big block created by dark magic. But now the person doesn't have an inner guidance system. They're easily influenced by demonic and negative entities who want them to do their dirty work and go down a very dark path, completely losing themselves and making it almost impossible to get back and remove the block. That's what it means to sell your soul, but what do you think?
I think when you're truly connected to your soul, creativity can flow through you. So it kind of makes sense that if that connection was lost, something else could be guiding you.
It's not something else, bro. It's Satan.
If you are still rocking Balenciaga, you need to see this video. You need to see this information. And after this information, if you want to continue rocking Balenciaga, that's on you. Check out this video.
Told you, bro. It's everywhere.
Why would they do that?
And no, they did not spell this wrong on accident, because why would they? They put this in a whole advertisement. Another strange thing they got going on is they got kids holding teddy bears with bondage outfits. Like, come on, you gotta be a weird ass weirdo to do this.
I want one, bro.
Balenciaga is pushing an agenda that is far from good. Let me know what you think about this and follow me for more content. Remember, guard your eyes, guard your ears, guard your heart, and guard your soul. Peace and love, y'all.
You're not getting one of them bears, Tud.
Ha! Too late, bro.
This is proof that the music industry has a demonic agenda. I mean, look at this. This is the weekend before and after.
Dang.
This is Katy Perry before and after. This is Kid Laroi before and after. Taylor Swift before and after. Playboy Cardi before and after. Trippie Redd before and after. A$AP Rocky before and after. Eminem before and after. You see, the devil works by deception. And most people say, chill out, it's just music. But what they don't know is that the Bible says faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of God. So when you're hearing and hearing lyrics written by the devil, all you are doing is growing faith in the devil and his plan to steal and destroy in your life.
5 minutes of fame and they're all doing rituals.
They're all doing it, bro.
Before going to a concert, think twice.
Yep.
This is an Ed Sheeran concert. Satanic images are conveyed to the audience honoring the devil.
Fuck you now.
As you may know, many artists sell their souls for fame. The video shows the souls of the audience being sucked from their bodies. This is a ritual.
It's pretty crazy.
Told you, bro. They even got Ed, bro.
Crazy people pay to go and see that shit.
Beyonce has a demon. She refers to it as Sasha Fierce.
Sasha was in full effect. Sasha is my alter ego.
But as you'll see, this demon even manifests itself through her while she's on stage.
Jesus.
She's possessed, bro.
She even admits to the first time she was on stage and this demon entered her body.
And I remember right before I performed, I raised my hands up, and it was kind of the first time I felt something else come into me.
A little side note, her husband Jay-Z has been pictured wearing a shirt that says, "Do what thou wilt." A quote from the occultist Aleister Crowley, who called himself the most evil man who ever lived and the beast himself. The demonic realm is real, and we're starting to see it manifest itself more in the public eye.
We gotta do an episode on Aleister Crowley, bro.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you want to see that.
Did you hear he's going on a podcast tour to expose a club?
Some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of the fucking club, that pisses them off. What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people would be like, what? Who? Come on, man, stop playing.
So if you have any interest in what he's talking about, he's been doing several podcasts.
We gotta check out that podcast, Ted.
On it, bro.
Celebrities that are literally the same people.
I think they just look alike, Ted.
Nah, bro, they're clones.
They are pretty similar.
Told you, bro.
Nah, Ted, this is bollocks.
You're a sheep, bro.
Bernie Mac, fuck off.
They got everyone, bro.
Yeah, not Bernie, mate. Bernie Mac was the greatest of all time. There's no way he would have sold his soul.
Steve got Bernie, bro. That's right. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
If you want to know if somebody's getting like in the Illuminati or being tested, is they put them in a dress. Now, one of them being Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart even made a joke about it. He's like, yo, I'll never be put in a dress. I'll never be put in a dress. This and that. Fam, Kevin Hart ended up in a dress.
Why though?
So it's part of what they call like a humiliation ritual, right? Now, one of the biggest ones being Dave Chappelle. He said this in an interview. He was in for a movie and a studio like writer came to him. He's like, oh, Dave, blah, blah. All right, we have a new skit for you. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do it in a dress. And he's like, what are you talking about? This wasn't in the original plan, blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, you gotta do it. And he just ended up leaving. Like, he's like, nah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, there's no way Dave or Bernie would sell their souls.
Yeah, but Kevin did. Ask Cat Williams.
So you see her hands go above her face once. Watch when they come back down.
Dang.
I wanted to post screenshots of the AI filter coming off so people could see for a bit longer just how insane this is.
It's really easy to fake, Ted.
Watch her face glitch.
Look at it, bro.
Yeah, that's a bit strange.
Now watch her back tattoo disappear.
It's just still easy to fake, Ted.
Nah, bro. Watch.
Shit.
Told you, bro. I'm guessing we ain't gonna see Brittany for a while.
Kinda makes you wonder when the last time we actually saw her was.
Get ready for what I'm about to show you. Here's Madonna when she first started. Here's Madonna now. Demi Lovato when she first started. Demi Lovato now. And it gets worse. Billie Eilish when she first started. Billie Eilish now. Sam Smith when he first started. And Sam Smith now. Listen, there's a spiritual battle taking place right now for you, but you have a choice. If you're choosing Jesus today, then put Jesus in the comments and like this video for more.
How come they say this is just art if everyone's doing it?
All of the elite are Satanists, bro.
The Knights Templar. Scripts and texts and tablets that they had found had confirmed what the church had been saying for many years about Jesus. Some of these things were very different and contradicted the Bible, blasphemous. Right. And they were Catholics.
And so this information that they had discovered and confirmed by following what the Brothers of the East had told them to find and rocked them. And then they realised that information would change the whole Christianity faith, but the faith was so powerful it endangered them by having this knowledge. They had to keep it a secret. The artifacts that they were finding in the name of the Catholic faith, they were being funded by the Catholic Church.
Right. So it'd be like the sugar company doing a study on sugar.
Yeah.
And then you find out, oh fuck, sugar's actually causing all these diseases.
Yeah. Ironically, the Catholic Church is actually funding information that could be their downfall, and they're preserving it unintentionally. They knew that they couldn't let the church find these documents, and because the power of the church had become so great, they would destroy these documents, and they knew history that needed to be preserved.
Okay, what a moral dilemma for the 8 Knights, because if you were truly Catholic and dedicated to your faith, you would just destroy it, wouldn't you?
Well, no,
if you were on the seeking for truth.
So this was at the time of the Crusades. There's a lot of religious wars going on, and just to speak of different teachings in Christianity, it was like a death sentence. And some of these texts had wisdom that not only went against the teachings of Christianity, but were blasphemous, like reincarnation. We are all connected to Source, God, heaven not being a place but a state of mind, and even divine feminine. This knowledge then became known as Christian Gnostics. So that's Gnosticism. So basically the idea of Gnosticism is that a wisdom of an enlightenment can be found within, as can our connection with God, so you don't need to go through the church. And they believed in a universal consciousness. So I'd say we would be considered Gnostics, Christian Gnostics, because we have a bit of a belief in the teachings of Jesus, but then also this universal consciousness.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go to church to find a higher...
But to suggest that in the Crusades is death sentence.
Yeah, because why would another human have power over other humans to gain access to Source? Like, that makes you better than me.
Exactly, Delvin. Wanted to preserve this evidence, and so that when the time was right, they could reveal this stuff to the world.
Hate to break it on, 2024 is still not right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The church is too powerful. It still is.
What were they trying to hide?
It's all part of the New World Order, bro.
The Knights Templar knew about the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki were gods worshipped by the ancient Sumerians, but they were actually aliens from a planet beyond Neptune called Nibiru. The Anunnaki arrived on Earth about 450,000 years ago, searching for resources, specifically gold. They were trying to solve an atmosphere crisis on their planet. Finding gold in abundance, they settled on Earth and established mining operations. Eventually, the Anunnaki created a labor force by genetically modifying early human ancestors, accelerating the evolution of Homo sapiens. So the Templars knew about the Anunnaki and how they converted gold into a powder used for healing, levitation, and generating electricity. And it wasn't just the Atlanteans and Israelites that knew about mana. Sumerian text spoke of an alchemical science called Graal, which you can't help but notice is similar to the word rail. The Sumerians used a substance called Shimana that was used to help the Anunnaki gods power their flying craft. In Vedic, Hindu, and Jain texts, this substance was called the mana, which again was used to power flying craft. Polynesian cultures believe mana is a force of nature.
If there was another force of nature, I think we'd know by now, Ted.
It's funny you say that.
Scientists may have just discovered a new force of nature. So for those unfamiliar, there are currently 4 forces of nature. They are gravitational force, electromagnetic force, weak nuclear force, and strong nuclear force. Well, scientists near Chicago claim that they may have just discovered a new 5th force of nature. Now, if this discovery of a new force of nature turns out to be true, then this could be the beginning of a new revolution in physics, and it will be just as big, if not bigger, than Einstein's theory of relativity. The behavior these particles expressed during this experiment cannot be explained because they're apparently under the influence of a brand new force. Now, if this all pans out and we actually do get a new force of nature, there are all sorts of scientific discoveries and breakthroughs that will now be possible that simply were not possible before. Honestly, we might be living in the coolest timeline in all of history.
This ain't new. They'll hide an ancient technology, bro.
Jesus, Ted, I think we're going on this one.
We've only just scratched the surface.
Tartaria is a crazy conspiracy that will lead you to question all of history.
Imagine that every invention you know to be true now that we use today was already here but better in the 1800s, and the technology they had harnessed the free energy of the ether. Every amazing building that was built all over the world with this old marble and technology is everywhere, in every continent, from Vietnam to the United States of America. The theory is that the Illuminati destroyed this civilization with a weapon that could melt buildings, cause a mud flood, burying an entire realm, and they just moved into the buildings, claiming them for themselves.
Ted, this is getting a bit mad.
You're gonna start finding proof soon, bro.
Brazil is going to explode in discovery related to pyramids. There are pyramids all over Brazil, and I have photographs of some of them. There's a pyramid.
Yeah, look at those two sides right there.
Yep.
It's nuts. It even looks like it's got concourses in the dirt. None of these have been discovered, and they look way more realistic than any of the things that you've seen coming out of either Antarctica or out of Bosnia. And I found a megalithic site that's like Stonehenge for Orion.
Damn.
If you look, okay, see where the Orion Nebula one is, right? And all these little stars around here? So again, Orion shows up all the way around the Earth.
Man, I've got to show you something. I mean, this is massive.
Those are huge blocks.
Look at the vertical cut marks on the top block. I mean, those were placed. That pieced with what you're sharing, there's something going on in Brazil.
Mate, those blocks were massive. Where's the people that built them?
They went underground, bro.
They've been hiding this from you. The Sphinx wasn't just a guardian of the pyramids. It's the key to a hidden underground city. But that's not even the craziest thing that was recently discovered. In ancient Egyptian texts, there are references to hidden chambers, saying, "Beneath the lion lies the heart of our knowledge." The Sphinx was carved over 4,000 years ago, so what secrets lie beneath it? This is where things get scary. In recently discovered papyrus scrolls, it's said that the Sphinx wasn't merely a statue, but an entrance to an advanced ancient civilization known as the Osirians. The scrolls specifically mention that the Osirians, who possessed advanced engineering and knowledge, built a vast underground city beneath the Sphinx to protect their wisdom and technology from invaders. However, once the Osirians vanished, their city was sealed, and the true purpose of the Sphinx was hidden to keep their advanced knowledge out of the wrong hands. This explains why ground-penetrating radar has detected anomalies beneath the Sphinx, and why access to these areas remains restricted.
Ted, this episode's been fucking mental, mate. Could barely keep up.
It goes way deeper, bro. But we'll save that for next time.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.
Why don't you watch another video? It's right there.